Welcome to the Super Profit Friends. 15 minutes long, because you're an entrepreneur and you've got a business to run.
Hello and thank you for coming to the SPF Super Profit Friends SPF 15 podcast.
You're a mess. All right, we're gonna clap into it.
All right, we're doing the clap.
Okay.
And
rituals. All right, all right, so we're gonna clap and say rituals.
All right, ready?
Okay, so on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Rituals.
Okay, the importance of them. Right. So let's hop right into
Episode 15, the importance of rituals and habits. Let's take it away, Zach.
All right. So we all probably have this ritual that we practice every day before you leave. When you go, keys, phone, wallet.
I do phone, keys, wallet.
All right.
I don't do that. That's why I lose things all the time.
That's why you lose things, right? So ritual doesn't necessarily mean spooky stuff. It means a habit that you form by doing that thing every day or however many times. You messed up on your ritual when we were going to the airport.
Oh, you're going to throw this out there?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, get him.
All right.
Get him.
Quick story.
Let Zach tell the story.
No, it's his story.
So I did. When we were leaving for the airport, we all met at my house, and I checked for my phone, keys, wallet, and I did not have my wallet, and I was like, that's okay. Usually, every day when I get home, I hang my keys up on a clip in my closet, or on a hook in my closet, and I put my wallet in my shoe, because I know I wear my shoes every day, so I'll never forget my wallet. That's a theory. So sometimes, though, I put my wallet in my glove box, and I leave it there, and sometimes I forget to take it out at night. So please do not break into my car. That said, the morning that we were supposed to be driving up to Boston to take the flight down to Miami, I checked phone, keys, wallet. No wallet. I was like, it's just in my glove box, no big deal. I'll grab it when we get out there. We get out to the car, and we're loading everyone up, and I forgot to check my glove box, so we drive 40 minutes to pick up Chris Lang, and then I realize as I'm getting gas that I do not have my wallet, and I was like, no big deal, it's in my glove box. So I go open the glove box, and sure enough, it is not there. So we ended up having to picking up or dropping everyone off at Chris Lang's house. They called an Uber. I drove at a speed I am not proud of to get from where is it, Easton,
yep,
to Fall River, and then back to Boston so I could get on my flight. And I made that journey in far less time than I realistically should have. Yeah. But the main point of the story is
that you were able to drive so fast because of the magical boost from your rituals that you practice all the other times.
Is that it?
Yes, that's why we do it. So they were talking about rituals at that conference today. There's that guy that chops down 5 trees every day.
That's right. What was that?
Wait, what? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
It was, what's his name? Maxwell.
John Maxwell.
Oh, this one was outside.
So he would chop down 5 trees every day. No, so every day you hit a tree 5 times. Over the course of a year, you've struck that tree thousands of times, right? You might fall that tree. Now, take that same story and picture like every day you chop up like a different vegetable and you throw it into a cauldron of water, right? And you have that cauldron simmering every day, and you make it like a ritual. Like you throw in some sage.
Do you mean like say every day you're like, I am going to reach out to one person?
Yes.
And by the end of that week, you've reached out to 7 people.
I think he was getting to that, but you cut him off.
No.
Well, he was talking about
great.
Cauldrons and sage.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back.
No, that's right. So you go do those things, and then you run home, and you write that person's name down, and you like when you toss in like
All right, you're getting silly
when you
now.
toss in like a piece of paper
Silly.
with like that vegetable, right, at the same time, you throw them in. It's like you're performing the ritual like while you.
Oh, crap. Oh, Zach. All right, so to bring
What
it
is
back.
happening?
So to bring it back, basically what we're talking about. The last episode and this episode have not been great. Endings are insurance.
No, we're fine.
All right.
So after like
the-
a week, you have enough vegetables in there to make soup. Is basically what I'm getting at.
Right. So what we're talking about when we say rituals and habits is really making sure that you're doing something every single day that is going to work toward your ultimate goal. If you need to, for instance, if you're in data entry, which sounds like an awful job, and I apologize if you do that. But if you're in that, then you think about putting.
Don't touch that.
And Walter just showed up.
What, buddy? How you doing?
Welcome in. All right, so what we're getting at
Oh no.
is
Ritual.
if you what we're getting at is if you do something every day, then by the end of a year you will have done that a minimum of 365 times. And if you do it multiple times every day, then you will have done it a minimum of multiple times of 365 times. So one of the things that we talk about, especially when we're talking about mindset stuff, is, and actually, Walter, I'm glad you just popped in on this, because I know that you have like a dream board on your wall. You have a bunch of quotes. You have different affirmations that you say every single day when you wake up. Can you talk a little bit about some of those habits and rituals that you've created that have helped to bring you to the level of success that you are currently at?
Yeah, so my rituals in the morning are sick. Like, it's not like normal person stuff. I've gotten to the point where it's pretty obsessive, but it's pretty successful. So, vision board, I have...
Be a little louder.
Yeah, I have a series of vision boards, and they're in different places. So at my office, I have a vision board for where I see the company going and the goals that we have together as a company. But then personally at my house, I have a vision board as far as like my health, my personal finances, and then the relationships that I want. So like traveling, those things are all in my personal vision board at my house on a whiteboard, which is magnetic. I just stick things up, change them out as I want. But the affirmations are probably the most powerful thing that I do. And to be perfectly honest, it's more than just affirmations that I read to myself or I say to myself. I actually have hypnosis tracks that I record for myself. And previously I was using hypnotherapy with somebody else, but recently we started recording it. So it's detailed exactly what I want for myself and in my life. So it's all worded as you are positive, you are successful, you are influential, your voice is calm and soothing. The people you meet are only good, positive people. You attract those, and all others are not. They don't even come into contact with you. And it's so there's a lot of those sorts of affirmations, and they're a requirement. I think that anybody who wants to get somewhere has to start hypnotizing themselves to counterbalance all the bad hypnosis that's been in your head anyway. So that's why it works. It's just positive hypnosis that gets into your head, gets you out of that bad hypno.
And just to clarify, when he talks about all the bad hypnosis that has come into your head, what he's talking about is the training that you've received over years of like being a child and being taught that certain things were true when in reality they may not be. And it may just be the way that your parents were raised, so they're raising you that same way, or things that they've learned that they're pushing onto you. But they're not always true. So that's what he's saying. Retraining your mind to have a more success-oriented mindset and a more confident mindset without backing down from things.
Yeah, and the other ritual is motivational, like speeches. You know, I get on the YouTube and I'll put Eric Thomas or Ty Lopez or Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, like any of these guys. Like I'll plug it in first 30 minutes. Les Brown, like first 30 minutes of my day, I'm getting pumped up. Like I'm brushing my teeth, or I'm doing my workout, or whatever I'm doing. Like it's some sort of motivation. I think it was Zig Ziglar said it. You get motivated, you know, in life, and it cleans you up. It cleans your soul. Right, so you wouldn't skip a week without taking a shower. Don't skip a day without taking motivation. It's the same thing. Like, go and get yourself mentally cleaned up and
Even
get
if
amped up a little bit.
Even if it's not an actual motivational speaker, just someone who you really look up to. Say if it was in your industry. So I look up other photographers that are making videos on YouTube, or maybe have a podcast, and I watch that, and after I watch that I always feel inspired. So even if they're not like, you can do it, blah blah blah, emotional motivational speaker style, it could still be a good ritual to just even this podcast. Yeah.
Like, putting this podcast on first thing in the morning gets your mind right for business. Mm-hmm. You start listening to it and you hear, like, what's going on, like what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It gets your mind geared to be successful. It gets your mind geared to doing something that's going to get you somewhere.
You think immediately, oh, what they're talking about now, that's what I need to do. Like, that's quality advice. That's what I need to follow through on. That's what my focus needs to be. And that's what you'll end up focusing on for that day.
That's the rituals that keep you successful. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and there are tons of podcasts that we listen to for those same reasons. Yeah. There are writing podcasts that I listen to when I know that I'm going to be writing that day. I listen to a writing podcast because that's what's going to get me pumped.
Real estate podcasts, marketing podcasts, sales podcasts, workout podcasts.
I've been listening to Whichever Path, which is a friend of mine. It's two friends of mine. They make a podcast where it's like a choose your own adventure podcast.
Nice.
You listen to the episode, you have an option of which path you want to go. They poll their audience, and that determines the next episode that they make. Pretty neat. And I have that on when I'm like prepping, for a D&D night or something like that, and it just gets me into that that right mindset. Whatever triggers that inspiration in you is basically the goal of the ritual, right, that you're performing, or if it inspires like the muscle memory. So like practicing anything, right. Literally practicing anything, but like capoeira kind of has like a dance to it. When the music accompanies it, it really like completes the movement and makes them it gives it that fluidity,
ties it all together.
Whatever, I would say that the goal with your ritual activity should be stuff that you do at points in the day that keep you in that flow state, right? When you're operating from that most comfortable point of thinking, not necessarily like you want to be able to step outside your comfort zone, but when you're like in the zone, you want to be kind of riding that rate. So organization, which came up in the last episode as a struggle for artists,
I missed it.
is something that will help immensely, right? And the thing is, being organized has to become a ritual habit in order to become like self-sustaining, I guess. But it's just more efficient system.
And maybe another way of saying rituals and habits is just saying consistency.
System.
Because because that's another thing. You can, like, there are the more ritualistic things, like what Walter does, where it's like you're reading through and you're changing your mental state, and there are those things which is very like ritualistic. And then there are the things that you do every single day to help grow your business, and that consistency is what brings you success. Those are the habits that we're talking about, like making sure that you respond to every phone call, every text, every message that you receive on Facebook Messenger or Pages Manager or Instagram, every comment you receive, making sure that you're responding to your customers as quickly as possible, and make it a habit to respond immediately.
And not even just on responses, but like when you're actively prospecting, leave voicemails, like text. If they don't answer, you go to voicemail, leave the voicemail. A lot of salespeople miss that point and then text them immediately after. Like, just because they didn't answer your phone doesn't mean they're not going to respond to a text. So a lot of people just miss out on that opportunity by being like, oh, I'll call them later, or they'll call me back. They don't. So like that's a habit. It's like, oh, they don't get contact 3 different ways. I'm going to email and text them, and I'm going to make sure I leave a voicemail. Little habits like make you more successful in contacting those people.
Right. If it's not an actual habit yet, write down the list of rituals that you want, maybe every morning. And when you wake up, as you're eating breakfast, it's like, okay, you're sitting down, answer those emails. That's number one while you're eating breakfast, and just so and check them off because it makes you feel. What would you say? When you're checking off the list,
Yes. Make lists, guys. Make lists. For days, make lists, and then check them off.
It's about setting big goals, right, Chris? Like when you start your plumbing business, like you're not just out there to. We were talking about the other day. You're not just there to, like, just show up and plumb stuff. You do love it, but you would probably do it for free. But the idea is also you want to make money, so you set up these habits that will make you successful, right? Like you're gonna follow up with your clients, you're gonna ask for more business, you're gonna make sure you build relationships.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like all those pieces that you incorporate into your business are habits that you've created, but like. What separates him from all the other plumbers is his personality. That's all habits. That's rituals of how he's going to communicate with people. I was going to entertain. I was going to, bring a little bit different to the game. Most plumbers aren't like that, But that's habits he's created, rituals around how he communicates that make him so likable and have expanded his business so quickly. It fascinates me. Like he doesn't know what he does, but he knows that people like him. Yeah. Right?
Well, but that's authenticity, which is what we were talking about a couple episodes ago, where it is just a natural thing. It's such
like Josh was saying though, it does boil down to consistency. It is a numbers game, right? You program yourself to produce these results more often by having the right habits in line, or the wrong habits. Then that gives you the negative result. Mm-hmm. It honestly it is just fun to call it rituals, but it is just consistency and good habits that
rituals is more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun.
We are past the 15-minute mark, so the last thing I'm going to say here is that if you change your habits, then you will change your life. If you are not the person that you want to be, then decide the person that you want to be. Think about the habits and the rituals and the consistent things that you need to do to become that person, and then start doing them. Kaylin made an awesome point, making lists. It's huge. I make lists every single day because when you own a business, you have such an immense workload. There's so much to do. You need to know where to start. And making a list is the easiest way because you can be like, all right, this one's an easy one to check off. I'm going to bang that out. Do a couple, like 3 or 4 easy ones first that can be quick. That way you're feeling great. And then you hit the hard ones. Then you get the challenging ones done. And then on another quick note, if you guys have something that you want to create a habit of doing, then write a list of the stuff that you want to do. Put it wherever you will see it every day. If you go and you brush your teeth, put it on the mirror right there. If coffee is the first thing you go to do and you need to get milk out of the fridge, put it there wherever you're going to see it. Don't put it somewhere where it's not going to be visible. Right. Don't put it like on the side of your bed on the coffee table where you are never going to be. Make it so you have to move it out of your way. If you're going to put it on the fridge, put it on the handle of the fridge because you have to grab the handle. Like, get it in your way. Get it in your face.
On your shoe, on your car keys.
Yeah. Anywhere. Like, put it right on your windshield and you have to take it down physically every day.
Like when I'm trying to insert something new into my life, I put it on my calendar. Like even if it's a positive affirmation, or like when I first started getting into social media, I literally forced myself to make a certain type of post every day, and it showed up on my calendar until it was just a habit.
I actually did that with Capoeira, like before every Capoeira class.
Yeah.
I have an alarm that goes off on my phone that reminds me what my goals are for that month of classes, so that I know what I'm training and I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But it's
all my goals are in my calendar.
Yeah.
Just sit right there in the morning and right there at night. The first and last thing I look at before I go to bed and when I wake up.
You should never have an empty day in your calendar. It should be just
white space is
full.
deadly. Yep.
Go ahead, finish your last thing and then we'll end it.
I'm just gonna say at the least, after a week, you have a cauldron full of soup.
That's right.
It's all about that cauldron, man.
That's what it's all about.
All right, guys, thank you very much for listening to episode 15 of the SPF 15 podcast. Make sure you guys leave some comments down below so we know what you guys want to hear from us. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask anything you want, and we will address it in a future podcast. Don't forget to check out the YouTube videos also. We have been posting some YouTube videos, and there are some things in there that are different from what you'll hear on the podcast themselves, especially when we get around to special holidays where you're going to have some some special episodes on YouTube that you won't get to fully experience if you're only listening to the podcast. So check it all out, guys.
Also, guys, it's a huge favor for us. If you go on iTunes, like us, share us, subscribe, make sure you're putting this message out there so a lot of other people can have the same benefit that you're getting. It's huge for us because it helps us reach more people, and then it's huge for you by being the person who was able to introduce it to somebody else. So anything that you can do while you're out there, either sharing or liking, especially writing a review, that's massive help for us spreading the message. So thank you guys for all your support. We appreciate it.
That said, we will see you all next week. Have a great Tuesday, or if you're listening to it on any other day, have a great whatever day you're listening to it.
Life.
Get it.
We'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.